Hey everybody. So we live in Maryland, and Maryland has kind of gone down on shutdown. Schools are going to be off for 2 weeks coming up. A lot of activities have been canceled, and I'm watching my Facebook feed and social media kind of blow up with, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And so I wanted to post that you're entering the zone. All right, the kid's home, parents are working from home. I have lived in this zone for years now, and it's okay. I'm going to offer some advice. And yes, you too may achieve this glamorous look after being in the zone for too long. But really, it is okay. It will be okay. I'm going to give you guys just some quick advice, and I'll probably pop in every day or so just to give a little bit more of a pointer so that you don't go quite as crazy. I feel really certain that most of us will survive this virus just fine. I do think it's really important to keep each other safe by creating the social distancing, and so I am willing to do it and looking at it as a staycation, more or less. But I am pretty certain that most of us will survive this virus. I am less hopeful that we will survive the social distancing locked up with our spouses and children. So that's where these basics come in. All right, so the first thing, when your kids are home from school and you feel like you have to homeschool, all right, we've been homeschooling for a few years now, and I'm going to tell you right now, school can look different from what it is in public or private sectors. Okay, it doesn't have to be 5 to 6 hours of instruction. Stick to some of the basic categories, right? Science, math, reading, social studies, get that stuff in. And then you can throw in the fun stuff of gym and art and music, but don't feel like you have to cram everything in ever, okay? Remember that you're cutting out busy work, you're cutting out other people's behavior problems. You're still going to have to deal with your kids' behavior problems. And every kid has them. Don't say they don't. But it is going to cut down a lot on those things. So don't feel like you have to give that much instruction in any given day or that much activity to them. Okay? Stick to the basics. The second thing I want to say is there's a lot of learning to be done just in the home. Life skills, household chores. These are really important things that sometimes our kids lack because they're in before school care, after school care, in school, sports, dance, karate, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all these activities, right? And so they don't really see a day-to-day chore activity. So I really think that turning that into something enjoyable for your kids is a great life lesson that will carry them a lot farther than some of the things that they learn at school, right? And think outside of the box. So folding laundry can work on sorting things, categorizing things, see what they can figure out as far as how to categorize things. Like, you might be surprised at what they decide. Cooking is really great for math and science. It is really messy with your kids. I get it. And it takes longer, so factor that in. But if you take a deep breath before you do it and you go in with that expectation, it really is some fun lessons. Vacuuming. There's a lot of science that goes into the machinery and everything else, and it is kind of cool. I mean, watch a few YouTube lessons on what creates a vacuum and what kind of vacuums there are in the world and in our life, and then have them vacuum a room. Take a look at what they find in the carpet. I mean, it can be really fun with exploration. You can make soap. There's a lot of recipes out there that you might just have some of the ingredients for, and I mean soap, right? You can learn about family dynamics, how it looks different in every culture, and you're going to be learning a lot more about your own family dynamics in the weeks to come. And you could even learn about the spread of diseases, like historically speaking, the influenza in the early 1900s and all other kinds of things, and you can make it age appropriate, and talk about why we are actually doing this, even though we may not be the ones at risk. It's an important lesson in so many things. I mean, for our society, it's for just caring for others. Those are all really important. The next thing I want to suggest is read together. Just read together. Sit down and read. Let them pick out books. You pick out a book. Grab a great chapter book that you remember that you loved as a kid and sit down and read it out loud to them. Let them read it out loud to you. It really is a fun thing to do together. Find the fun, right? We can't control what's going on around us right now, but we can control how we react to it. So find the fun. There might be some holiday goofiness that you could put together for St. Patrick's Day, dancing, dressing up, stuff that you wouldn't have time for normally. Now you might have time for it. Pull out board games. My kids' favorite thing is we do scavenger hunts. We write out little clues and we just hide them all around the house. And the last little thing could be as simple as a tiny little piece of candy, but they get so excited that they figured out all of these clues and they found it and they're running around the house. They're getting busy, and it keeps them out of your hair. So if you spend just a little bit of time planning that scavenger hunt, you can then have a little bit of time to yourself. Which is really important. Next step, make time for yourself. There are going to be a million different voices coming at you at the same time, even though there may only be 3 people in your house, and it's nonstop and it's going to be exhausting. Make time for yourself. It's not selfish. Okay, you're allowed to say mommy needs a timeout, dad needs a timeout. You're allowed to close the door and lock it. You're allowed to take a bath. You're allowed to say, I just don't want to be touched right now. Those are all perfectly fine. So the other thing is lower your expectations. It really is okay. This is not going to determine the trajectory of forever for your child or your family or anything else. Show each other grace, all right? Just give grace. The kids are going to be messy. They're going to be creative. If you have craft things laying around the house, even like newspaper and glue and everything else, let them do paper mache. It's going to be a disaster. It just is. Give them space. Give them grace. Give yourself space. Give yourself grace. It's okay. Just lower the expectations. You'll have plenty of time to get back up to where you want things to be afterwards, all right? So I'm going to post hopefully every day, depends how we're surviving, with some other tips on survival of this social distancing. So tomorrow I'm actually thinking about talking about how to survive your spouse working at home, because that is a thing. It's a thing. So hang in there. If you guys have any questions about how we've done things, or how we are doing things, go ahead and shoot me a message. And here's just wishing that your coffee is strong and your patience is deep. All right, guys, have a great day.